According to the Cardano Foundation, there's been big news. And no, it's not about a hypothetical almost 2% price recovery in the past 24 hours. It's actually about a very amazing partnership. Because did you know that Cardano, or at least the Cardano Foundation, I should say, has recently partnered up with the Brazilian Olympic Committee, which I think is really massive. And I can actually speak a little bit of Portuguese. So in Brazil, I would say Comitê Olímpico do Brasil, which again means the Brazilian Olympic Committee. This is pretty impressive in my opinion, and I'll get into this in today's video, even though nothing I say is financial advice. We got to think about why, again, this is just so amazing. Well, it's because Brazil has over 200 million individuals in terms of the population. That's really amazing. Not to mention, Brazil historically is one of the most successful countries in the Olympics. Brazil is just really amazing in the Olympics. So we got to think about this. This is very fantastic stuff right here. So if I see in 2026, or should I say in Portuguese, 2026, if I see a partnership, again, with the Brazilian Olympic Committee and as well as the Cardano Foundation, this is a big thumbs up for me, because we have to take a look at kind of the terms and sort of the, I guess, aspects of this, right? Because we have to consider, this is allegedly the first ever National Olympic Committee running on public blockchain. This isn't, just something, not significant. No, this is very significant in my opinion. And there's been allegedly a 3-year strategic roadmap. This is really amazing. Not to mention, we have to consider just how massive the Olympics are. Everyone watches it pretty much, I'm assuming hypothetically in some cases. And the Olympics, I think, is just getting started, because now, with social media, with the way things are posted nowadays, also not to mention, with Olympics, the event's just getting a lot better. The Olympics are just going to go on this trajectory, in my opinion, a very positive one at that. And the Cardano Foundation doing something again with the Olympic Committee in Brazil, very amazing. Not to mention, there is an aspect when it comes to AI in regard to this. So we got to think about, when it comes to Cardano, people sometimes don't really think about it as a place for AI. But you know what? Apparently, some others do think it could have a potential use case when it comes to AI. So this is all just really surprising. Now, people are often kind of obsessed over the fact that ADA, which is Cardano's native token, is still below 20 cents. So I get it. But we sometimes have to consider what Cardano is doing behind the scenes, because this is no joke, in my opinion. This could very well just be the tip of the iceberg, because Cardano, not too long ago, we saw them make a post about how they're affecting basically 15,000 farms. And I even made a video when it comes to that. And now we're seeing them do something with the Olympic Committee in Brazil. Just, I think it kind of showcases that what we see sometimes in terms of the price charts, it doesn't tell the full story. Because I get it, I could pull up a price chart, draw some random triangles all day, but if I do that, I'm not really looking at the fundamentals, right? At that point, I'm just super obsessed over the price charts, which basically kind of tells me nothing about the fundamentals of the project. So again, when I see that right there, it showcases that the Cardano Foundation, while some others are, thinking, oh, this project is cooked and all this, they're not stopping. So let's think about this logically. The founder of Cardano saying he has no control over Cardano, saying how he can't make ADA, its native token, go back to an all-time high, saying how basically he's going to be taking a break. Who cares about all of that? You know what I mean? Cardano, if anything, is hypothetically decentralized based off of what the founder said, because the founder said he basically has no control, which is exactly what most people want to hear anyways. I don't know why that's a bad thing. If someone wants to have something that's very centralized, stocks are out there. You know what I mean? This space, oftentimes people care about decentralization. So the fact that the founder can't even really do much about Cardano anyways, it showcases that Cardano is actually functioning in a more decentralized manner, which is actually, again, a good thing. I don't know why that's so negative. Like, for instance, when Charles Hoskinson, who not only is the co-founder of Ethereum, but the founder of Cardano, when he basically admitted how he had not much control over Cardano, a lot of people started exiting when it comes to ADA. They started leaving. I just never understood that. If anything, I'd be happy. Actually, initially, when Charles Hoskinson said he first had no control, like very recently, that right there, I thought was actually going to make ADA appreciate, not depreciate, because I thought, oh wow, it's so cool that he admitted that he has no control. But then suddenly, I don't know why everyone just kind of left ADA because of that. I just found that so bizarre because I was thinking, whoa, what? He just admitted that Cardano is basically very decentralized, and then a lot of people are upset when it comes to that. So what? They want Cardano to be centralized? Kind of makes no sense to me. I think that's just the way I take a look at it, because imagine if Satoshi Nakamoto, for whatever reason, revealed himself and was like, oh, I'm going to start controlling Bitcoin in this way or that way. A lot of enterprises would leave. That's what would happen, in my opinion. The fact that Satoshi Nakamoto is this very unknown figure, it makes it so that, people think about Bitcoin in a more hypothetically decentralized way, and sometimes that's what they like about it. But then when suddenly Cardano has an aspect of decentralization like that, people think it's a bad thing. It doesn't make sense to me. I think, if anything, if Charles was very controlling when it comes to Cardano, if it was very centralized, that's not a good idea. We've seen what happened in the past when things become too centralized. It's just not good. And again, I'm not saying that a project is centralized or decentralized, but let's take a look back in time. Take a look at Luna. Take a look at what happened then. You know what I mean? So when people say, oh, wow, but Luna Classic, it's popular now. I understand that. But back then, take a look at how sometimes, if the founder controls too much about the project, allegedly, it just may not in some cases be such a hypothetically good thing. So I think, if anything, ADA, sure, below 20 cents. You know what? If I can dollar cost average into one of my favorite layer 1 blockchains of all time at below 20 cents, I have zero complaints, because just back in December of 2024, ADA was hovering at around $1. So we're over 5 times lower than $1. I think, if anything, Cardano improved, right? Again, I didn't see them have a partnership of this magnitude last year or the year before. So I think that when it comes to Cardano, it kind of really does showcase that it's improving, yet the price charts are going down. Which, if anything, what that kind of showcases to me is that it got better, but then at the same time it became cheaper. That kind of makes no sense in real life, because usually in real life, if things get better, they don't usually become less expensive. But when it comes to this space, it sometimes does operate that way, especially when the market isn't doing the best. But you know what? I don't mind, because I'm willing to wait for years anyways. But that's just my perspective as of right now. I'm still holding, I'm still waiting. But I'm slowly but surely just lowering down my average cost once a month. Again, just dollar cost averaging once every approximately 30 days. That's it. I'm not telling anyone to do anything. But I'll be sure to make more updates moving forward when it comes to Cardano. So hopefully y'all stay tuned for that. So hopefully I'll see y'all in the next one.